Hello, today we are painting a Siamese cat with acrylic paints. What you will need is a canvas. This is an 8 by 10 inch canvas panel. Anything around this size will work. I'm using a small, medium, and large flat brush, as well as a small rounded liner for details. There is a cup for water, a washcloth or paper towel, and some sort of paint palette. And for your paints, we are using acrylic paints. These are acrylic craft paints, which I just prefer personally in my practice. But whatever acrylic paints you're using will work just fine. Some of them come in tubes that look more like this. All right, so you'll need black and white. You will need green and blue for the background. And then I'm using burnt sienna. Some sort of orangey brown color is like this will work great. And some sort of pink for the inside of the ears. A more coral pink like this would also work. But we'll be mixing that color later on anyways. So those are the colors you're gonna need. And we're gonna start our painting off with the background. However, when we finish the background, you might want to have a hair dryer handy, just so you can get that layer completely dry before we move on to painting our cat. Otherwise, you'll just have to wait for it to dry, and that is okay too. It'll just take about 15 minutes. So first up, I'm just popping down some blue paint. And I'm gonna mix some white into my blue. I like to make my background a nice light blue color. There's a hair in my palette. All right, so mix up that blue and that white. I wanna make sure it's evenly mixed before I start painting my background. So once that's all mixed, I'm gonna paint a line across here. This is a little bit lower than halfway, so the halfway point's about here. And I'm gonna paint this line just below that, giving us more sky than ground. And then I'm filling everything else in. Try to use all the paint that I made so I don't waste any. And then I'm just going back and forth, trying to keep it all the same direction, coating the back. All right, once that is done, it's time for some green grass. I'm gonna wipe my brush and rinse it. And once that's clean, I'm gonna get my green paint. Just put a little bit of green down. I mix that with some yellow as well, just to lighten the green up a little bit. I like to use yellow instead of white when I'm making my green lighter, especially for grass. Because if I add white, it just makes it too, like, it just doesn't look like a grassy color. So that's why I like to make sure I add yellow. Okay. So using this green, I'm just gonna fill in the rest of my background. done and covered nicely. There's a little speck of something in there, get that out. All right. And once that's done, again, rinse your brush. This time, completely make sure there's no paint left on there, because we are done with that paintbrush. And rinse that super duper good. Okay. And I'm gonna put this to the side. At least the side, because I'm gonna get my hair dryer out and dry all this background before I try to paint my Siamese cat. All right, that is all dry. Get my picture back out here. And I'm gonna start off painting my Siamese cat with some white paint. So I get a nice little pile of white here. All of that brown we'll paint in later, so we're just gonna do everything except for the tail in white first. And using my medium-sized flat brush, that's the size that will work the best for us here. We're gonna coat that in some white, get it nice and covered, and we're gonna paint a circle for the back of our Siamese's body. So it's like the back leg and the back of his back. Start right in the middle. We'll point to the middle. Find the middle of your canvas. You're gonna go down and over from that, and right here, do a curving line down, down, down past the green and stop right there. Curving line down, okay? This is gonna turn into an oval. So bring it back up, 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 up. It's kind of like an egg. All right. Right at the bottom of this oval, I'm gonna pull my paint down a little bit and back horizontal. Or sorry, back diagonally, and then forward and curve. There's a foot there. If it's not perfect, that is totally fine. We have lots of time to fix it later, but right now we're just getting the general shapes, okay? It's gonna be a brown foot anyways, so just get that general shape out there with this white paint. And then next, we're gonna paint another circle right in front. So basically the same exact shape we just painted back here, but a little bit smaller. And we're gonna paint it up a little bit higher. And that's gonna be the front of our cat. This circle will have legs sticking off of it, so you could paint just some straight lines to start, and then make them look better by widening them at the top. So make them wider at the top, trying to keep it kind of thin still at the base though, okay? So keep them thin at the bottom. This one can come out a little bit more and be a little bit bigger because it's the front leg. And we're gonna connect all of this one line like that. Okay. this circle will connect like that. Just swoop it down and back. Alrighty. At the bottom of these legs, you can add a little circle. If you want to wait and use your smaller paintbrush, we could do that too. But we're just going to put little circular shapes for those front paws. Make them kind of flat on the bottom. Okay. You'll go over that again with that brown color, so just do your best for now. All right, now it's time for the head. So right up above this front oval, we're gonna paint a circle, and we're gonna kind of make this circle wide. So I make that C shape and a D shape next to it. And I'm gonna curl it underneath up like this. And again on this side, curl it up. I can add a little bit more of a line here for the shoulders. See how we're just adjusting it as we go? As we can see more, we can fix more and make it look the way we want it to, okay? All right, and add some ears. I'm gonna flick upwards, back down for one ear. And same thing on this side, flicking up, back down, making it wider at the base. I think that's looking pretty good. Just gonna clean up a few spots I see here and make sure that there's no blue, no green coming through where we want it to be solid white. Okay. Fix right here. Very nice. Rinse your brush after we fix this here. All right, wipe your brush, clean off this extra. Rinse, 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 rinse. I'm going to I'm going to dry this off really quick. And then I'm going to take my burnt sienna, pouring it right into that white. I'm gonna skip, oh, well, and I just used my medium-sized brush. So I'm gonna go down to my smallest paintbrush here, my smallest flat brush, excuse me, because we still have our liner that's smaller. But I'm just going to use my small flat brush, mixing that burnt sienna, that brown, with this white. And let's start off with a tail. So starting right here in the middle, about the middle of where this curve, maybe a little bit farther down actually, right here in the green, we're gonna curl up, back, sort of like a S shape almost, but like a reverse S shape. Making it a little thicker at the top. Alrighty, we got our tail now. And in this foot here, just real gently you can blend that brown in. Just using whatever's left on my brush. Just blend it outwards and into the body a little bit. I'm not picking up any more paint yet, just because I want it to be nice and smooth, and that's how we can get this nice blended look. When you use a little bit too much paint, it just covers it and you don't get quite so much blending available. So try that, see how you like using your dry brush. Grab a little bit more paint now though. Going along here. I'm just painting my feet and the legs, this brown. And the ears, so just along the sides of the ears. Kind of blending it at the bottom, along the side. And then here you see how I'm just tapping it and blending it out at the bottom. All right. Now we will paint, I'm actually going to do a little line at the top here. Blend that down too. Just like that, okay? Now we'll do the mask of our Siamese cat. So we have this brown face mask going on. So we'll do one circle on this side, one circle on that side. It looks kind of goofy at first. Just trust the process. We're going to blend it out, going up like this, making a point, back over. And then we're blending this out. And let's add one more circle at the bottom here. Like that. And that will be the mask of our Siamese cat. Now, this tail is dry, so we're going to need another layer because that blue is really coming through the brown. So do another layer, come along the feet and do another layer over everything that we just painted brown. It should dry pretty quickly, so we might not need the hair dryer. We're just trying to get this solid brown. Okay? Over the ears again. And one more layer on top of that face. All right. Rinse off your brush. Next color I'm gonna grab is pink. I'm actually gonna use this coral pink. Oops, I used a little bit too much there. And using that same brush, I'm gonna plop some pink right in the ears. Okay, so that's a pretty dark pink, but it'll be all right. You could add a little bit more white in there if you'd like. This, make that a little bit lighter. Perfect. All right, rinse, rinse, rinse that brush. I'm gonna take my hair dryer. Now, if you have any blue left on your palette from the background, I have a little bit. I'm gonna get a tiny, tiny bit more. What we're gonna do is paint a half of a circle like that, flat on the bottom to make it a half circle, and then another half circle over on this side. All right, do that with the blue. Rinse your brush off, and let's get out some black paint. This will be the last color we need on our palette. So the brush is clean, get it wet, and grab a bunch of that black paint. So we're gonna do some outlines now. We're gonna paint our nose and our mouth, and then we're gonna go around and do some outlines like in the feet, okay? So starting right here in between those two eyes, straight across, and connecting down to a triangle, curling over and up, curling over and up. You're just outlining. Adding some of these lines in here will make everything a little bit more defined, and it'll make it easier to tell what we painted. So we're just going through here and very gently, not putting a lot of pressure with the brush, we're outlining our cat. For the toes here, I just add these extra lines as I'm going. Now, to a big curved line like this for our back leg. And 1, 2, 3, some more toes. connect it this way. Pull this line up the back. That. Tail. Take your time with this, go nice and slow, and that's how you're gonna get the best results. And this is great practice for controlling your paintbrush. Okay, so just go nice and slow, outlining everything. We're waiting for that blue to dry. Even around here. Awesome. Now my eyes are still not dry, so I'm going to get my hair dryer, dry them off really quickly. I just got paint all over my hands. Just wipe that off. I don't know where that came from. Oh, it's on my hair dryer. All right, dry those eyes. Back with that black paint. You can, if you're doing it really carefully, you can outline these. Remember, you're not pressing very hard at all to keep those lines nice and thin. Going in with a circle of black. In the middle, a little bit to the side of the eye, adding those black circles. Is there anywhere else we need black before we rinse this brush? Maybe right here, maybe a little bit right there. All right, rinse. And I'm gonna hit this with the hair dryer again really quick. You don't have to do this, but I recommend it just so that you don't accidentally get some gray. All right, now our very, very last step for our Siamese cat, we're gonna get, because you can't see my palette anymore, get some white paint, and we're just going to put a dot right in the corner of the eye and in this corner. Do it on the same side of each eye, and that will just make your Siamese cat that much better. All right. I had a lot of fun painting this one today. I love Siamese cats. They're super cool. And this one was a lot of fun to paint. So if you're new to acrylic painting, I hope that this was fun for you and that you're encouraged to come back and try some more. We have lots of more cat breeds to paint, as well as dogs and a ton of other animals. So if you enjoyed this, please come back for a future video. Thank you so much for watching and have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.